Hi guys, I'm Roger Knowles and welcome back to Always Games TV. And in this video we're going to be reviewing Loading Human Chapter 1 on the PlayStation VR. Now, Loading Human Chapter 1 is a sci-fi VR adventure game for the PSVR and Oculus Rift and was developed by Untitled Games and published by Maximum Games. So what I'm going to do actually first off is read you the synopsis of the game directly off their website. Loading Human is an episodic VR adventure game that blends a deep story, interactivity and physical gameplay within a compelling sci-fi universe set in the 22nd century. Chapter 1 is the foundation. You are Prometheus. Your dying father, a genius scientist, summons you to his Antarctic science lab with a grave request. Travel deep into the unknown space and retrieve the Quintessence, the most powerful source of energy in the universe. At stake is his life. Now, as you begin Loading Human Chapter 1, you're taken through a fairly lengthy tutorial system, and unfortunately it's rather dull. It explains the overcomplicated movement system, which is a good attempt at it for VR, but unfortunately ends up being rather clunky. To move around the space, you're required to point your move controller forwards and, clicking a button to move. And to turn, you do something similar. You either point left or right and click the button. And instead of the character rotating in that direction, the screen sort of flicks to whichever direction you pointed, which in theory sounds, simple, but unfortunately, the camera quite often misreads the command and either flicks the turn option rather than actually walking forwards, and this actually happens quite a lot. So you end up kind of pointing in all different directions to try and make sure you're either turning the right way or actually walking forwards. And when you're actually in the PlayStation VR environment, the virtual reality environment, you sometimes forget exactly which direction the camera is in because you might get lost of where you are in your own space of your room. So when you're required to point at the camera to move forwards, you're not entirely sure if you actually are pointing at the camera or not. The tracking of the hand movement is a little bit intermittent and a little bizarre at times, mainly due to the fact that they have animated the whole body rather than just do the hands floating in space, such as Batman Arkham VR game and the London Heist in the PlayStation VR worlds. And this leads to your whole body looking strange and slightly deformed when you're either looking at your reflection in a mirror or looking down at it. Now, saying that, the interaction with objects is great fun. Now, throwing them around, or one of the main points I actually really enjoyed was you have to play some music at one point, and you have to walk over to a record player, and to actually put the record on, you need to pull the record out of the sleeve and then place it on, rather than just grabbing the record and throw it straight on. You actually have to pull it out of the sleeve. And it sounds really simple and really basic, but these little elements to it really give immersion to virtual reality, and you might sometimes gloss over it, but actually having it there just adds a little bit more realism to the game. You can play around with a lot of the objects and stack them up and, like I said, throw them around, which kind of really just means that you kind of make a tower and can just push it over. But again, these little elements can really make the game good fun.
Beer, still the best drink in the world.
The story of Loading Human Chapter 1 is a little bit convoluted and a little bit strange. I personally found it a little bit tricky to follow, mainly due to the fact that I was being distracted by trying to get used to the movement system and missed some of the dialogue. And the other major downfall, unfortunately, that I only managed to play nearly about 2.5 hours of the game, and that was because after taking regular breaks, the motion sickness was just so bad I had to lie down. Now, this can differ from person to person, but I found it that bad that I honestly could not play a single minute more.
It is in this lab that for years I have fought my battle against death. But this base, once place of hope, has become my doom.
Now, overall, Loading Human Chapter 1 is a great attempt at telling an adventure sci-fi story, but unfortunately it suffers from being one of the first on the VR platform. They have tried to introduce an interesting movement mechanic to VR, but it's simply just too clunky. Also, with the price of this game being £34.99 presently, I personally think it's a little steep, and I have no idea at this present moment if you get the future chapters included in the price or if you'll have to pay the same amount for each future installment. So have it, guys. That is my review of Loading Human Chapter 1. Don't forget to like and subscribe and check out more of our videos on www.alwaysgamestv.com. I'm Roger Knowles, this is Always Games TV, and we'll see you, hopefully, in the next video. Bye, guys.